One of the most delicious things to do with kibbeh, Lebanese kibbeh, is to make a kibbeh sahnieh, which is a baked casserole style dish with layers of kibbeh, which is ground beef or lamb mixed with bulgur and onion and spices, and I have a great recipe for that here as well. I have some already made here, and a filling of more ground beef or lamb sauteed with some onion, salt, pepper, and lemon. So let's start with making our filling, our housey meat, hashwi, also known as hashwi, for our kibbeh sahnieh. I'm going to just heat up a nice bit of olive oil and start with sauteing these onions. This is a medium-sized onion. I've got a couple of pounds of meat here, ground beef here, so medium onion to a couple of pounds of the meat. Going to season the onions from the ground up, making sure that they have salt on them, salt and pepper from the get-go, and that way the onion really absorbs that flavor, and that's how we get nice layering of flavor in our food, is to season as we go. I'm not looking to brown these onions so much as I am just to soften them. The onions have softened really nicely, took about 6-7 minutes. I'm going to add the ground beef, coarse ground beef. And honestly, regular ground beef works just fine. It doesn't necessarily have to be coarsely ground. To the onion. And I have a nice sharp edge spoon that I like to use to break up the meat. Again, gonna season with a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper. Our housey meat has been cooking for about 5 minutes, not too long, over medium heat with the onion to get to this just nicely browned color. And then to finish the housey meat, we're going to add the juice of 2 lemons. The lemon juice brightens the flavor of this filling so nicely. To make our sahnieh, and the way this is done in my family, maybe in yours too, is we'll have raw kibbeh, kibbeh naya, with the housey served alongside, and then the next day we'll make it into the kibbeh sahnieh, and that's the baked kibbeh, because we only want to eat the raw kibbeh one time, one day. It's not good to eat the raw much after that. So the way I do this, and I am going to just use my hands, you can put rubber gloves on if you like to handle the meat, is I'm just taking the kibbeh and like a little bit like a dough, I'm going to lay it into the base of my pan. And I'm just taking it in sections and pressing it into the pan like this. So that layer is really only, it's less than a 1/2 inch thick on the base of my pan. Okay, I have the base of the pan filled with a thin, flat layer of the kibbeh, and I'm going to put a layer of the housey meat, the juicy housey meat, cooked, already cooked, right on top of that. That's an even layer, not too thick, and I like to press it right down into the kibbeh with my spoon. Now a top layer of more kibbeh, and it's exactly the same way as we did on the bottom, making nice flat pieces, laying them into the pan right on top, pressing it down and smoothing it over. Take a little bit of ice water in your hand and use that as a kind of glue, a kind of smoothing agent for the top of the kibbeh here, like this. We do make a design on top before baking the kibbeh, and these are the cuts that then will be the cut lines that we cut the pieces out with. I'm going to divide this into 9 pieces like that, and I'm cutting through. We want to cover the top of the sahnieh with a little bit of fat, meaning olive oil. Mom liked to put pieces of butter on top or pour some melted butter over the top. This top forms almost a crustiness. It's got a really nice, deep golden brown color to it when it's done. Okay, this is ready to bake. I just pulled our baked kibbeh sahnieh from the oven. You can see it's got a really nice deep golden brown top on it, and I got that by putting it under the broiler for just a few minutes at the end of baking. That was 400 degrees for about an hour. I have a feeling that my kitchen assistant named Dan is going to want to have a bite.
Oh, here he comes.
Here he comes. This looks great. I better give you a fork here.
Oh, this is the best part.
This is the best part. Let's taste it. Serve the kibbeh, baked kibbeh, with some yogurt, some Lebanese, some bread.
That is so delicious.
A salad. Well,
I love my job.
it's a good job. This is very moist, very flavorful. If you want to make your kibbeh for your kibbeh sahnieh or to eat as kibbeh naya raw, you can find my recipe in this video right here. And I hope you'll subscribe so that we can continue to cook Lebanese together.